The theme for 2023 is Living Out Loud. The theme for June is Embracing Self-Care. Today's topic is pleasure. Ernest Holmes offers these words of wisdom. Anyone wishing to develop a pleasant personality must first become pleasant and think comforting thoughts. And Christian Larson in The Optimist Creed wrote, promise yourself to think well of yourself and proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words, but in great deeds. Let us mindfully affirm together, calmness accompanies me every single step of my life, moment of my life. Sorry. And now I would like to, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson.
So June is a month to fully embrace the value of caring for the body, the mind, the emotions, the spirit, something that we call self-care. Why? Because it's a way of strengthening our divine connection. It's a way of developing a sense of well-being and achieving vibrant, radiant health. Sound good? All right, self-care is it. Self-care is the bomb, I think is what the young people say, right? It's the bomb. And so in doing so, we not only support ourselves, but what we are doing is we're truly supporting others. We're truly supporting others because we're more able to give from what's called the overflow, a reserve. We're building up a reserve when we do self-care, and then we're able to give from that overflow. So today, the focus is on self-care as synonymous with pleasure. And so here's my way of helping to anchor this in our consciousness, okay? So self-care is feeling good, and feeling good is feeling God. Let's say that together. Self-care is feeling good and feeling good and feeling God. Okay, do your own movement with that. So, ready? Everybody, stand up. Let's play along. Okay, ready? Self-care is feeling good and feeling good is feeling God. All right, thank you. So, first of all, talk about the detrimental effects of emotional congestion. We start with, the challenges, and then the healing power of cultivating a peaceful mind, and finally, the proclamation that self-care is a divine responsibility. Powerful, huh? Self-care is a divine responsibility. Move this more this way so things don't bump up against it. Oh, that's right, I have this whole necklace thing. Okay, so here we go. Emotional congestion. Ernest Holmes once wrote, irritation, vexation, not convection. Irritation, vexation, and confusion go hand in hand to rob a person of the birthright to peace, comfort, and unity. Well, that's pretty evident, right? Yeah. So emotional congestion, what is that when we have emotional congestion in the body? Well, it's a buildup of suppressed, repressed emotions and things that we're holding on to, grudges and things that we just keep ruminating on in our minds. And so what does that do, this emotional congestion in the body? It blocks the flow of creation. Creation flows through our body and into expression, so it blocks that flow of creativity and creation, of inspiration and all of the things that bring this thing called pleasure or pleasant feelings into expression. It also blocks the ability to, it blocks the feeling of energy and and also sets us up for health issues. So there are many, many different ways to express emotions, to get the emotions up and out instead of locked in our bodies. And that's what we teach here. I mean, isn't that that's the bottom line of what we teach? Is the spiritual practices, meditation, spiritual mind treatment, visioning, um, journaling. And there's so many other tools, tapping and the Byron Katie technique of inquiry and radical forgiveness. There's so many different ways to do that. Plus, um, just things that you simply enjoy doing that bring joy to your heart. So the key, though, with emotions that I continue to remind myself over and over again is express it without harming myself or anyone else. I'm not saying that I'm totally successful all the time, but it's important that we remember to come from a place of non-harming. And in other words, we do want to express it. We do want to find a way to get it out. And I know when I was really involved in radical forgiveness years ago, we would encourage people to do things like punch a pillow um, or scream into a pillow or go in the car and just scream and get it out. So there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. But the key is to get that, it's energy, stuck energy. Get that energy moving and out of the body. So so that's one step. But the key is to, once the mind is cleared, you're able to get those feelings up and out. The mind clears, the executive function of the brain comes online, and then that's the opportunity to look at the thought belief that gave rise to that emotional reaction. And that is where our growth is. And that is where our opportunity to break down those patterns of reaction and to bring in and to start cultivating a peaceful mind. So it's done unto you as you believe. And the principle, that's the principle. Therefore, change your thinking or change your beliefs and change your life. Something that Ernest Holmes said quite some time ago. So pleasure then is found in a peaceful mind. And I have a story to share with you. There once was a farmer with 4 sons, and he wanted them to learn the impact of a mind full of displeasing thoughts. And so what he did is he sent them on a quest. The first son he sent to a distant village where there was a peach tree. He told them exactly where the tree was. He sent them in the winter. And so the son did that. The second son he sent in the spring to look at the same peach tree. The third in the summer, and the fourth in the fall. And so then after that was completed, he gathered them together and he asked them what they saw. And the first son said, who saw it in winter, said, well, I saw it twisted. I thought it was kind of ugly tree that had twisted branches and it was bare. The second son said, oh no, I disagree. What I saw was a tree that was full of blossoms and buds, and the blossoms smelled so sweet and they were so beautiful. And the third son said, wait a second, no, you're both wrong. You're both wrong. What I saw was a tree that was just rich in greenery. And the final son said, you're all wrong. You got it wrong. What I saw was a tree that was dripping with fruit, loaded with fruit, the bounty of the harvest. And so the fulfillment of life is what I felt when I saw that tree. So the father said, you're all right. And the lesson that I want all of you to understand is that what happens within us is emotional congestion, unhappiness. when we get into an argument about who's right and who's wrong. And so he said, you will be unhappy if you continue with this mindset of I'm right, you're wrong. You will be unhappy for the rest of your lives, and you will miss out on all of the seasons, the fullness of the seasons of life and living. Would you rather be right or happy? Would you rather be right or happy? So the experience of divine pleasure or bliss happens in an atmosphere of a calm, peaceful mind and a willingness to see life from multiple perspectives. And being pleasant, choosing to be pleasant, is actually the number one rule for developing a pleasant mind, a pleasant personality. Being pleasant, it means cultivating a calm, pure, peaceful mind by looking for the good, the true, and the beautiful, even in challenging situations, which I know is not easy, but it's doable. Particularly after it's blown over, we can look back on it. We can find the silver lining. But that is the pleasant mindset. That is the mindset that we cultivate if we truly want to experience and enjoy all of the seasons of life. Would you rather be right or happy? And so the thing about the calm, peaceful, pure mind is that it is the birthplace of all the other wholesome feelings or gifts of the spirit. Awe, wonder, joy, bliss, love, harmony, all of those things that we call the qualities of God. And so let's do it again. Feeling good is feeling God. Ready? Feeling good is feeling God. I love it. I love that you're all willing to play with me. So what do you do when you are faced with a challenge? I mean, think about it. When you're feeling distressed, angry, fearful, or sad, what are the steps that you can take to calm your mind? Or what are the steps that you do take to calm your mind? So they kind of fall into various categories, but what I came up with, there's like a category of inquiry where we look at the belief behind the reaction. So it's called inquiry. You can use tools like radical forgiveness, Byron Katie, or you can work with a practitioner and they can help you find the belief that is underneath the emotional reaction. The second one is to feed the mind with peaceful and loving thoughts. And that's what we do with spiritual study, affirmations, spiritual mind treatment, feeding the mind with loving thoughts and peaceful thoughts. And then there's also the calming and restorative nature of pleasant activities. Yoga, Tai Chi, what else? Bicycling, swimming, what? Dance, walking. Yeah, there's so many activities that we can do to bring those pleasant feelings, those wholesome feelings of the spirit into expression. And the scientific thing that happens is that we're stimulating the vagus nerve, which calms the body. So again, what works for you, and what are some things that you might want to remember in times of distress? So the thing is I do all of them. I don't know about you, but when I looked at all those, I think, I do a lot of those really on a daily and a regular basis, because I've learned over time that this is what keeps me in a centered, available, open space for spirit to move through. And it's just, again, it's a reminder that feeling good is feeling God. Feeling good is feeling God. Because that God's nature is peace and joy and love and awe and wonder. I've also found that in spiritual mind treatment, I found that even if I start in a fairly good frame of mind before I do a spiritual mind treatment, which is a affirmative prayer, I find that when I'm completed with that, I am in such a higher vibrational frequency state. And I talk with my prayer partners about that a lot, like, wow, it just feels so good. I can feel this energy flowing through me. It is so wonderful. And so what is it about spiritual mind treatment that is so powerful? Well, what it is a method of speaking the truth, a method of reminding myself what I believe and know to be true, because it begins by speaking the names, the qualities, the nature of the one infinite universal source of all that is, which I call God. You might call it universal mind, or you might just simply call it love, the source energy, Allah. There's so many different names for this one source of all that is. And so I find when I get into this state of naming the names of God, I move into this exalted state of awe and wonder, and it's very expansive. I almost feel my entire energy field stretching out. And then all of these amazing feelings as I speak about this nature of God, this peace, this love, this joy, this um, enthusiasm just pours through me. And so what happens then is in that state, inspiration flows through. The life, the very animation of the spirit animating this body and working through it is what takes place. And so that means that the ideas in the mind of God are flowing through me. That means that flowing into expression through this universal creative law that's automatically activated by this state of expansiveness and acceptance and unity, this consciousness of oneness and wholeness and unity with all life. It is what I would call divine bliss, divine pleasure at its highest, and I love it. It's such a sweet experience for me. That's why I talk about it all the time, because it is a way of feeling good and feeling God. So the final one then is self-care is a divine responsibility. Don't you love that? This is your assignment. This is your divine assignment, self-care. It's a divine responsibility. And responsibility is, to take the heaviness out of it, it means the ability to respond. It's my ability to respond. And so, again, it strengthens our connection as we practice self-care. Our spiritual practices are really awesome self-care. And since God is love and peace and joy, when we take care of ourselves and we feel love and peace and joy and all of those other feelings, we are experiencing God's presence. Feeling good is feeling God. And where does that come from? It doesn't come from things out there. It's something that emanates from within. So when you find yourself grasping to have things out there bring you joy and peace and love, just know that you're on the wrong track, because all that you're looking for is within you. We have the ability to emanate, express, generate these qualities, these feelings, these divine feelings, because they are within us. That is our nature. That is our true nature, our true selves. So when we align with the divine, with our thoughts and words and actions, we create a peaceful mind. We strengthen our divine connection, and we therefore can bring those energies to any celebration. Father's Day, we can bring those energies to the celebration of Father's Day. We can bring those energies to the celebration of Juneteenth, which is tomorrow. we can bring those energies to any situation and turn it into a celebration of life. So I would like to leave you with a self-care practice, an activity that you can do and practice and try that is so much fun. I've been doing it for the past couple of days since I found this actually it was in an email that came from someone. The self-care practice of grounding and earthing. And so it's simply this: take off your shoes when you're outside and walk and stand in the grass or wherever you are. You know, that's why walks on the beach in your bare feet is so therapeutic. Well, you get the same balancing energies from the earth that you do whether it's the earth, whether you're standing on the sand or whether you're standing on some grass. It's the same energy. And the key is to get your feet in contact with it. Indigenous cultures have known this since the beginnings of humanity on this planet. I mean, this is the way we showed up, right? And so particularly in ceremonies and things like that, being in your bare feet is a really powerful way to stay in connection with the planet. And then there are amazing health benefits that have come through by scientific observation. Reducing inflammation, boosting antioxidants in the body, improving sleep. Anybody have sleep issues? Get out, take your shoes off, and stand in the grass. Promotes a healthy blood flow because it reduces blood viscosity. So if you're having any issues with any heart issues or circulation issues, stand in the grass barefoot. Go for a walk on the beach barefoot. Because we live in a sea of electromagnetic waves. You know, this thing that I have on. And so on. Oh, that was not in the right place, was it? And we, it's whether it's, think of all our devices. Does anybody have devices on them right now? Electromagnetic waves. And so the way that we clear the body of the detriments of those electromagnetic waves is to take our shoes off and stand outside. Very powerful. Walking barefoot boosts energy, removes electromagnetic pollution from our bodies, balances our mood, clarifies our mind, and therefore can perhaps even save our lives. So let's turn within. Feeling good is feeling God. Why? Because God is the source, the substance, the supply of all good. Peace, love, joy, intelligence, wisdom, harmony, awe, wonder, bliss. All of these are sourced from the one life, one presence found within the very center of our being as our own true selves. Feeling good is feeling God. So as we decide, as we make our choice to fill our minds, feed our minds with the good, the true, and the beautiful, to look for the good, the true, and the beautiful in all situations, to look for the silver lining. As we continue to challenge those beliefs and those thoughts that create emotional congestion in our bodies, as we take full responsibility for ourselves and our spiritual evolution with radical self-care, I'm knowing that we open ourselves, we open the gateway to a life more fulfilling, a life rich and full, where we can enjoy all seasons of life because we know that the source of that joy comes from within us. So I just give my thanks in knowing that this is happening in, through, and as us right now. There's a grand awakening taking place for each and every one of us on a whole different level as we understand the pure, sweet, and vibrant spiritual nature of who we are. Self-care is self-love. Self-care is caring for the very life of God, which is us. Knowing that that allows us then to give the gifts of the Spirit that we have in service and in love to all humanity and all life. I give my thanks for this clarity, this awareness of the truth of life itself, this awareness of who I am and whose I am, divine that I am. And I therefore release this word with a calm sense of mind and being into the omni-action of universal law in full trust and faith that it is fulfilled. And so I invite all of us to accept the truth of these words for ourselves, accept it with a powerful yes, and so it is. Woohoo!